are the channel Cataclysms. Thank you very much for your activity and support. Review of events for 14th of March. Severe storm efforts threatening the U.S. states of Colorado, Wyoming and Nebraska led to massive airline cancellations. On Saturday, March 13th, more than 700 flights to and from Denver, 1,058 flights slated for Sunday were also canceled. Colorado authorities had put the state National Guard ready in advance to deploy search-rescue efforts in with an array of natural disasters, with about 50 centimeters of snow predicted as well as destructive winds and poor visibility. Dangerous conditions may hold up until Sunday evening. The Avalanche Information Center in Colorado announced that the rapid accumulation of snow could lead to dangerous conditions where avalanches would descend even in unusual locations. Sleet, snow sticking and ice are able to break tree branches and disable power lines. It is expected that in some areas the passage on the routes will become difficult, if not at all impossible. Several major highways on the passes, the accumulation of freight vehicles may be affected. Mountain roads will be closed for safety reasons until the worst storms pass. Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar and Iraq were affected by powerful sandstorms that swept several states in the Middle East. An abundance of dust and sand lifted into the air by high winds, painted the sky orange, creating apocalyptic landscapes in cities. Authorities warned citizens about a dangerous situation on the roads, when visibility from behind the storm significantly decreased. Especially hard-hit to shepherds, who were with herds in the open area, when a wave of dust turned the day into night. In Bahrain, a storm sprinkled roads with garbage. Heavy billboards fell on the tracks. In Saudi Arabia, a hurricane wind also broke dozens of telephone poles that loomed over the road, posing a danger to drivers and passengers' vehicles. Power outages were reported. Saudi Arabia's civil defense reminded people to take precautions, urging residents suffering from respiratory illnesses to stay at home and get out if necessary, protect organs, breathing masks and respirators. Torrential rains that engulfed Colombia's Valle del Cauca department caused flooding and a landslide in the city of Santiago de California. A woman with a child was killed in an incident in a destroyed house. The downpour was particularly strong. In just an hour and a half, 60% of the rainfall of March fell in the city. The average rainfall in March in this area is about 150 millimeters. Central areas of the city of Cali were flooded after leaving the banks of the river Canaveral. The Cauca River also reached the level of the flood. Authorities have issued a yellow flood warning. The Cali Fire Department responded to 60 callouts related to the weather. A massive landslide blocked the road southwest of the city. Parts of the Valle del Cauca department have not been affected during the past week. According to civil defense officials, 35 people were injured in a flood in the municipality of Versailles on March 8. One house was destroyed and several more damaged. Hawaii was hit by heavy rains, which caused a major landslide on the island of Kauai, and the northern part of the island's coast was isolated. Specialists from the Hawaii Department of Transportation said the collapse occurred on the Kuhio Highway in Kauai. 2-meter thick surface layer of soil and collapsed onto the roadbed. Will need a few days. The island experienced a similar situation in 2018, with flooding from behind the rains of the island, which caused the closure of 3 state parks. Officials warned residents of a temporarily isolated part of the island of possible long power outcuts. Rescuers can reach the North Shore by sea and by air. Teams were mobilized in case of an extremely situation. Immediately, several American states were at the mercy of a powerful cyclone. Heavy precipitation is expected in the cities of Denver and Boulder. In places, snowdrifts will reach a meter in height. Management at the airport of Denver, Colorado, said that from behind difficult weather conditions canceled 750 flights, on Sunday almost 1,250 flights. However, according to the latest figures, the air harbor is closed. Recall that in February, because of abnormal frosts in the south of the United States, millions of locals were left without electricity and water. Victims of bad weather were 58 people. Argentina continues to blaze, with devastating fires in the south. The fire has already burned more than 2,000 hectares of forest. At least 11 people are missing. Hundreds fled their homes. The fire plagued the provinces of Chubut and Rio Negro. The flames have burned 2,000 hectares of land and destroyed more than 200 homes. The authorities placed in temporary shelters. More than 6 dozen rescue crews from different parts of the country try to overcome the fire. Helicopters and planes drop sandbags and water the forest's water. The hindrance to rescuers becomes a strong wind and drought. The rains that fell on Wednesday partially extinguished the flames, but the fire continues to smolder. The government and rescue services are doing everything to ensure that the current disaster does not grow to the extent of last year. 2020 was the driest in the country in a quarter of a century. Then, because of long drought and deliberate arson, 20 Argentine provinces swept fires. Central Nicolov was most affected. More than 300,000 hectares of land burned out there. In total, the fire has baked more than 1 million hectares of land. More than 8,000 settlements in the territory of the Russian Federation are under threat of seasonal fires. The fire hazardous season this year will start not earlier than the beginning of April, and its intensity will depend on the level of snow reserves in the territories of the country's regions, the amount and types of precipitation and air temperature. The emergency department specified that a complex of supervisory and preventive measures related to forest fires is already being carried out now. Specialists are conducting raids and preventive operations in those areas that are threatened. Also, the Ministry of Emergency Situations of Russia closely monitors the territories of horticultural associations, children's health camps and other facilities that border forests. Crash of ship in Romania. Rescuers continue searching for the dead. Yesterday's search for the dead captain of the ship sunk near Romania ended to no avail. According to rescuers, the body of the dead man has already been seen in the area of accident. However, to lift it on board the rescue vessel didn't work. Looking for the first assistant captain as well. He is considered missing from the beginning of the rescue operation. The condition of the rescued sailors is acachant. All of them will stay in the hospital of the city of Constanța until March 15th. Sailors have already received a certificate for return to Ukraine. We will remind, on Thursday near the coast of Romania sank a bulk carrier, 13 crew members. 15 men and women, all citizens of Ukraine. The ship under the flag of the Comoros left the Russian port of Rostov-on and was bound for the Romanian port of Constanța. The accident happened about 100 kilometers from its destination.